Welcome back to Dinar Current, your go-to source for all things related to the Iraqi dinar today. We're diving deep into one of the biggest topics in the currency world, Iraq's massive national reconstruction and what it means for the future of the dinar. If you've ever wondered how rebuilding a country can affect its money, you're in the right place. The Iraqi dinar is a hot topic for investors globally. Why? Because many believe that as Iraq recovers and rebuilds, the value of its currency could rise. And at the heart of this potential is the country's monumental reconstruction effort. After years of conflict and instability, Iraq is finally rebuilding its foundations and I mean that literally. We're talking about everything from roads and bridges to power plants and schools. But reconstruction is so much more than just construction projects. It's a powerful economic engine. It directly impacts GDP, creates jobs, attracts foreign investment, and ultimately influences the strength of the Iraqi dinar. So, let us break down exactly how Iraq's rebuilding journey is shaping the present and future value of its currency. First, let's understand what reconstruction really means for Iraq. The push to rebuild gained serious momentum after 2017, once territories previously held by ISIS the damage was immense. Key infrastructure was devastated. Roads and bridges were destroyed, power grids were down, and oil refineries were in ruins. Schools, hospitals, and government buildings needed to be rebuilt from the ground up. The goal of reconstruction is to not just repair but to modernize these essential systems. For a currency like the dinar, this process is critical. A country's economic health is directly tied to the strength of its money. A stronger, more functional Iraq means a stronger, more stable dinar. So how exactly does rebuilding affect the dinar's value? It works on multiple levels: economic, political, and financial. Think of it this way. The more robust Iraq becomes as a nation, the more resilient its currency can be. Let's start with economic growth. Large-scale reconstruction projects inject billions of dollars into the economy. As Iraq rebuilds, a few things happen. First, a huge number of workers are hired, which puts money directly into the pockets of everyday citizens. Second, local companies win contracts, fueling business growth across the country. Third, trade and commerce begin to flow more freely as infrastructure improves. All of this activity boosts the country's gross domestic product, or GDP, and creates a more productive economic environment. A thriving economy helps keep inflation in check and provides a solid foundation for a stable currency. Next up is the oil sector, which is the absolute lifeline of Iraq's economy. Oil exports provide over 90% of the government's revenue. When oil infrastructure is damaged, revenue plummets, and that directly harms the dinar. Reconstruction efforts are heavily focused on repairing oil fields, expanding export facilities, and upgrading refineries. Iraq is also partnering with foreign companies to bring in new technology and expertise. As oil production and exports increase, Iraq earns more US dollars. This is crucial because it builds up the country's foreign exchange reserves. Think of these reserves as a national savings account. The more money the Central Bank of Iraq has in its reserves, the more power it has to defend, stabilize, and eventually strengthen the dinar against market shocks. Another huge factor is foreign investment. Reconstruction on this scale is expensive, and it attracts a lot of international attention and money. Countries like the United States, China, Japan, and members of the European Union are investing heavily in Iraq's rebuilding projects. Global organizations like the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund are also providing significant funding. This flood of foreign investment is fantastic for the dinar. It brings foreign currency into Iraq, which further bolsters those all-important national reserves. It supports long-term economic growth by funding projects that will pay dividends for years to come. And perhaps most importantly, it builds confidence. When international investors see a country as a stable and developing market, they are more willing to invest, which in turn makes the local currency more attractive. But reconstruction isn't just about bricks and mortar. It's also about modernizing Iraq's financial and banking systems. The Central Bank of Iraq is working hard on major reforms. They're introducing digital banking, strengthening regulations to prevent fraud, and cracking down on corruption in the flow of money. They're also focused on increasing transparency and stabilizing the official exchange rate. A modern, reliable banking system is essential. When people and businesses trust the banks, the currency becomes more stable and predictable. Of course, none of this can happen in a vacuum. Political stability is arguably one of the most important factors for any currency's value. Reconstruction plays a direct role here too. By creating jobs, it reduces public frustration and social unrest. By helping government services get back on their feet, it improves daily life for citizens. A stable government with functioning services boosts investor confidence like nothing else. And when confidence rises, the demand for the dinar increases, creating an environment where the currency can strengthen. Now, it's important to be realistic. While reconstruction is moving forward, Iraq still faces some major hurdles. These challenges can slow down the positive impact on the dinar. The biggest one is corruption. It remains a significant issue, causing delays in projects, misuse of funds, and a drop in investor confidence. Whenever corruption makes headlines, the market loses trust, and the dinar can weaken. Political tensions are another obstacle. Frequent government changes, conflicts between political parties, and delays in passing important laws all create uncertainty. Currency markets hate uncertainty, and this instability can put downward pressure on the dinar's value. Security is also a key concern. While Iraq is much safer today than it was a decade ago, regional conflicts and the lingering threat of extremism still create risk. Investors need stability to feel secure, and any threat to that security can slow down the dinar's potential growth. Finally, there's Iraq's heavy dependence on oil. The economy is still not very diversified. This means if global oil prices suddenly fall, government revenue drops, reserves shrink, and pressure mounts on the dinar. A major goal of reconstruction is to diversify the economy into other sectors like agriculture and manufacturing. But this is a long-term process. So, let's get to the million-dollar question. Will reconstruction actually increase the dinar's value? In the short term, the main effect is stability, not big jumps in value. The Central Bank of Iraq currently manages the exchange rate to keep it stable, so don't expect any sudden re-evaluations or RV events. The focus right now is on building a solid economic foundation. In the medium term, as Iraq continues to rebuild, modernize its oil sector, and attract more foreign investment, we could see the dinar gradually become more stable and perhaps slightly stronger. This would be a slow, steady process, driven by real economic improvements. Looking at the long term, this is where the real potential lies. If Iraq can successfully tackle corruption, diversify its economy away from oil, strengthen its institutions, and maintain political stability, then the dinar could appreciate over time. But again, this would be a gradual appreciation based on real, sustainable economic development, not overnight speculation. To wrap things up, Iraq's national reconstruction is without a doubt one of the most powerful forces shaping the future of the Iraqi Dinar. Every new road, every repaired oil pipeline, and every modernized bank contributes to a stronger economy. And a stronger economy is the only true foundation for a stronger currency. While serious challenges like corruption and political instability remain, the long-term direction is clear. Iraq is focused on rebuilding, stabilizing, and modernizing. For the dinar, this means a future where gradual strengthening is a real possibility, supported by tangible progress on the ground. Reconstruction won't create overnight miracles, but it is the most realistic and sustainable path to a more stable and potentially stronger Iraqi dinar. Thanks for tuning into Dinar Current. If you found this video helpful, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bell so you never miss an update. We'll see you in the next one.